As golfers, we tend to use an awful lot of kit, and it can be difficult to get everything that you need in the car or at home stored ready for your next round. And that's what Motocaddy acknowledged when they designed this new range of M-Series trolleys. They realised that anything that can save golfers space is going to make life an awful lot easier, and that's why they really started from scratch with this new M-Series. In fact, the only thing that carries over from the previous generation is this soft touch handle. Everything else is brand new to save you even more space when storing your trolley in the car or at home. These trolleys actually have an 11% smaller footprint than its nearest competitor when folded down, so that's really going to help you save space when storing this trolley in your car and getting it from your house to the golf course. Now, I've got all 4 new M-Series electric trolleys here in front of me and down to the side here, ranging from the most basic model all the way up to the most techie model, and we'll come on to kind of what the features are and benefits are of each of these models. At the top end, we've got the M5 Connect, and that's got a slightly different functionality on the screen, so we'll come on to that last. But the features that are shared across the other 3, so we have the new M1, there's the M1 DHC and the M3 Pro, and these all feature a brand new digital screen. You remember the previous versions just had a very basic screen with a LED light for the battery indicator. This screen is much more flashy. You've got 9 speed settings, you've got a more in-depth battery meter here on the screen, and it looks much more cutting edge than the previous generation. The big way that these trolleys save you space is through the brand new slim fold frame design and also the inverted wheels. So previous M-Series generation trolleys used 5 different clips to dismantle the trolley and get it down into the compact folded size that it was, but this uses only 2 very simple clips, and it speeds up the process an awful lot more. In fact, from my testing, it's come down from about 10 seconds to about 3 or 4 seconds when dismantling this trolley, so that's really important. It's going to save you space, and obviously it folds down a little bit smaller than previous generations as well, which is another bonus. As you can see here, we've got the wheels here on the sides, which are inverted. So what you can do is, if you want to save even more space when the trolley is folded down, you can flip the wheels around and they'll pack in much tighter, much more narrow on the trolley. So it's basically essentially takes up less space when you're storing the trolley in your car. There is a brand new battery design, and as you can see, it's much slimmer, much lighter as well than previous generation batteries from Motocaddy, and that fits into this brand new housing down the bottom, which is also much more compact, so takes up a lot less space. It's also much more powerful as well. You'll notice this is a 28 volt battery, whereas previous Motocaddy batteries were only 12 volts, and most other electric trolley brands have a 12 volt battery. So this extra power from the battery should mean the components are working less, they're also working more efficiently, and they should last longer as well. The trolley might also move a little bit faster, so you might find yourself going for a slightly lower speed setting than you're accustomed to on previous Motocaddy trolleys. Now the M1, which I've got here on my left, is the most basic M-Series trolley. It has all those compact folding features that we've talked about and the 9 speed settings on the screen, as well as the battery meter. You've also got obviously your easy lock base there on the end of the trolley. You've got the inverting wheels that help you save space, and that brand new battery design, and obviously the slim fold frame. Moving across here to the M3 Pro. Now this has the same features as the M1 with some additional features as well. You can see you've got a larger colour LCD screen here, and on that screen itself you've got additional features that you can see, for example adjustable distance control, so you can wheel the trolley off different distances away towards the next tee as you take your putter out and walk towards the green. You can also measure shots. You've got a clock and a round timer on there, as well as your battery meter, and all that is controlled by these 2 buttons here either side of the main button. And you've also got the USB charging port here in front of you, so you can charge your phone or GPS device as you play. If you purchase, for example, the accessory cradle, which is an optional extra, clamps to the frame, and you can obviously use your phone or GPS as you play. So that's a more of a feature-packed option from Motocaddy. The other option, before we come on to the M5 Connect, is the M1 DHC, which I've got here. Now this is the same as the M1 model, but it has 3 additional features. The first is an electronic parking brake, so if you tend to play very hilly courses, you get to your ball, you're worried about your trolley running away from you, you can employ the parking brake simply by turning the speed dial down to 1 and then 1 further click down to the left. You'll hear a little click and a P will pop up on the screen. That's engaged the parking brake, and you're free to hit your shot, and then you can choose the speed that you want to resume at, press the button, and the trolley will set off at the speed that you have chosen. The other thing that the M1 DHC does is automatic downhill control function, so it will automatically adjust to your walking pace when walking downhill, so you haven't got to worry about the trolley running away from you when walking down slopes. Again, that's really important and a great feature if you tend to play a lot of hilly courses. And the other thing it does is, because if you do play hilly courses and you might want to be using this trolley, it's got slightly different wheels, so the tread on the wheels is a bit more aggressive, going to give you more grip on those slopes. So 3 additional features there, as well as all the features that you would get on the M1. Now, the cream of the crop in the Motocaddy M-Series range is unquestionably the M5 Connect. Now, this takes after the S5 Connect, which you may remember uses an app on your phone that connects to the trolley via Bluetooth to display GPS distances on the handle here. It obviously has a lot of additional features. For example, you can set it to receive text and call notifications, as well as app notifications as well from things like Facebook and WhatsApp. It's got twilight mode, and obviously it uses the free Motocaddy app to get those distances, and on that app it has a lot of other features. For example, full colour hole maps with a movable pointer, which is great. It's also got a power save mode as well. Once you've loaded the course, before you play, you don't actually use any data when using that technology on this trolley. A couple of other things to mention about the M5 Connect is it does have a USB charging port here like the M3 Pro, and it does have the ability to measure shots as well. So it really is crammed full of features and technology, and that's really what this trolley is providing and who it's aimed at. It's aimed at golfers who like technology, they like something a bit different, something cutting edge, and something that's going to provide them with a genuine performance benefit. If you like to see your distances on your trolley's handle screen without having to faff around with a GPS device separately, this is a really great option for you. At the other end of the spectrum, the M1 is a more simple option. Obviously, all of them fold down extremely compactly, so all of these trolleys are aimed at golfers who are short on space, but then you just need to weigh up the amount of features that you want and whether you would use them out on the golf course. For example, the M3 Pro, I know a lot of golfers use that adjustable distance function to set the trolley off towards the next tee. It's not something that I personally use, but I've seen an awful lot of golfers do that, and that's something that you need to think about. Obviously, the M3 Pro does have a slightly larger screen on there, which makes it a little bit more readable. I would say the screens could be a little bit more readable. For me, they're designed a little bit flat. I think if they were tilted up a little bit more, they might be a little bit more readable in bright sunlight, but that is a minor complaint. Generally speaking, the design of these trolleys is excellent, and there's no question the process of folding down the trolley is infinitely more simple than the prior generation of M-Series trolleys, which was fine, but it involved a lot of fiddly clips and it was quite an elongated process. Where, as you can see here, this really only involves 2 steps with the 2 clips on the handle here and on the bottom, and then if you want to add in the flipping of the inverted wheels, that's obviously a 3rd step, but it's still much quicker than the previous generation. Now, another great feature that appears across all 4 of the M-Series models is the adjustable handle height, which I think is really important, especially if you're either a really short golfer or a really tall golfer like me. Having the ability to adjust the handle height is really important for your comfort, especially on your back, on your shoulders. You don't want to be kind of hunched over, having to hold the trolley handle really low. You can see how easy it is. Simply unclip the handle there, and you can move the handle, which actually goes all the way down if you really wanted to do it, or all the way up to here. You simply pick the height that's best for you and clip it back in place, and that's a massive godsend for tall golfers, and to be able to adjust that with so much ease is really important. The other thing that I really like across all these electric trolley models, when it's folded down, you can see that the bag stand here actually doubles as a handle. So when you lift it up, you can see here you can hold it with the trolley handle in one hand and this handle here where the bag clips in on the other hand. So it's very easy to transport the trolley from your car to the golf course, and then when you want to put the trolley down in your car, you can see it comes with this little black clip that clips out here, and that's actually a little stand to allow the trolley to sit upright very easily. So you can see here it doesn't wobble around or tip over, so it sits nice and upright, and that's where you get your 11% smaller footprint, is when this area, when looking downwards, that is a much smaller area, and that's going to save you a lot of space, providing you can fit the trolley upwards in your boot. But don't get me wrong, you can store it in lots of different orientations, of course, depending on your preference. You could store it flat like that or on its side. It doesn't matter, whatever fits your space the best, but you can store it much more easily, especially at home, with that black stand there that allows it to sit vertically. And the final thing that's great about the new Motocaddy M-Series battery and how it works with the frame is that you can fold down the trolley with the battery still in place, and you can even charge it while the battery is still in place as well. So obviously that saves you a lot of time. It's a bit more convenient when you have the trolley folded down and you're putting it in your house for storage. You can charge the battery without having to disconnect the battery from the frame. So which trolley would I choose? Well, I'm not massively into gadgets or features on my electric trolley. I tend to just like one that gets me from A to B with a minimum fuss. And if you're similar to me, you probably want to be opting for the M1 model. Whereas if you like some additional features, if you like to measure your shots, you know, the M3 Pro is definitely one for you. If you want a little bit more technology and features, the M5 Connect is obviously a great option because it gives you those GPS distances. Maybe you don't own a GPS device and you want to have one that's built in. Obviously the Motocaddy app is fantastic on its own. I know a lot of you guys don't own a Motocaddy trolley and you've downloaded the app, and I'm not surprised because it's a great app to have to give you GPS distances. But obviously with the M5 Connect you have the option to get those distances all in one place. And don't underestimate the M1 DHC, because I think this is offering a pretty good amount of value actually for golfers who play hilly courses. That all electronic parking brake is really simple to use. Automatic downhill control function is a massive godsend, to be fair, on hilly courses. When you're going down hills, it can be really tiring on your legs when you're having to pull the trolley back because it's getting away from you. You obviously haven't got to worry about it on this M1 DHC. The extra tread on the wheels does make it, for me, a little bit more difficult to maneuver around corners because the grip is so good, but then you obviously get the benefit of a bit more stability on hilly courses, so it's a bit of a balancing act, but for me it does tick an awful lot of boxes. So hopefully this has given you a good overview of the Motocaddy M-Series electric trolley range and given you a nice guide as to the kind of avenue you need to be going down when choosing the best trolley for you and your game. But regardless of the model that you choose, you know you're going to get an electric trolley that folds down incredibly small, and it's going to save you an awful lot of space.